What is going on, true believers? Did we just enter a bear market? Absolutely not. Quit being a nerd. We're not entering a bear market. However, the 50 EMA has collapsed. So we've got some concerns, but experts just turned bullish on XRP as Franklin Templeton is launching an ETF on November 18. Tom Lee also said that there is a market maker hole. I'll explain that in just a little bit, and that is going to explain the Bitcoin drop. Also, top analysts are now predicting how low Bitcoin might go. It's not as low as you might think. Arthur Hayes moves millions of dollars. Does that mean that Ethereum is about to crash below 3,000? We're going to look in. We're going to ask Arthur Hayes if that's the case. CZ Binance, in the meantime, is offering to invest millions of dollars in the United States, a significant, possibly even billions of dollars into the United States if the Department of Justice fine is reversed following his presidential pardon. And Charles Hoskinson is telling you right now, come on, guys, quit being a bunch of babies and hold the line. And that's going to stop the dump in cryptocurrency. Is he right? I don't know. We're going to find out pretty soon. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.
It's your boy Bleed. Everybody listen up. Let's get it. I'm trying to put money in your pocket. That crypto wallet. That bing bada bing ching ching big profit. Even when the market's sideways, I'm looking for ways to get paid. I'm checking my coins around breakfast, then again around bedtime. Bet this, it's not financial advice, but I'm always right. 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 I'm always right.
What is going on, true believers? Welcome to the Bleaves Crypto Show. My name is Bleaves. We're here to talk about this crazy crypto world. But before we get started, does anybody know what the phrase dripping swagoo means? Well, let me tell you what it means. I'm just kidding. I have no idea. But somebody once said that word and it stuck with me for a while. Dripping swagoo, which seems silly and just goofy, but also look at this Bleaves Crypto shirt. Do you have a Bleaves Crypto shirt? This design is available on my Spreadshirt. The link, by the way, is on the channel. It's in the description down below. You can go get Believe in Me, Bleaves Crypto, Believe in Santa. You can get the old traditional Bleaves Crypto logo. Axe Yo Mother, which is one of my favorite designs, by the way. I wear this one to the gym. It says Axe Yo Mother. Then we've got the Bleaves Descendants design. We've got I'm Not Scared of You, Carlos, for anybody who's in the Ben Armstrong fold right there. I'm Not Scared of You, Carlos. Guys, everybody should have an I'm Not Scared of You, Carlos shirt. So if you don't, I don't know, something wrong with you. Nothing wrong with me. So thank you so much for tuning into the channel. We're going to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff that's going on in the crypto market. So stick around. Let's get after it. Let's see what it is that's going on. You might notice a couple of changes that we've made along the way. And yes, we're doing things a little bit differently with the idea to grow the channel. We're just looking to grow at this point, right? So let's start with this. Experts have turned bullish on XRP as the Franklin Templeton ETF launches on November 18. Crypto experts have started making bullish predictions for the XRP token because of recent developments in the launch after Canary Capital's record-breaking debut last week. Franklin Templeton plans to launch its own XRP ETF on November 18. So the SEC is stepping in, giving the approval right now to get all of these things taken care of. And that should mean that we're going to see some really good inflows and volume into the XRP ETF. Now, that does not mean that we're not going to have a little bit of a dump beforehand. We could see some negative price action before we start to see an absolute rip. The market is weak right now. And just because Charles Hoskinson is telling you just hold doesn't mean that people are going to. We're still in a the bears and the bulls are still fighting. The leverage market is still massive and it's growing every single day. And to be fair, like a lot of people, even small investors, are starting to feel a level of despair in the market because they're losing so much money because the capital rotation is sucking them dry and they're trying to make it all back at one fell swoop, which is getting people even deeper into leverage trading, which is then creating an even worse situation in which more liquidity is there and these market makers are now on the hunt for your money. So, first of all, be very, very careful. Second, look at this right here. This is the list right now. Analysts are already buying ERC-20, but Franklin Templeton launches on the 20th to, look at this right here. As a matter of fact, this is from November 18 to November 2025, or November 25th, I'm sorry. You're going to have Franklin Templeton, Bitwise, 21 shares, Coin shares, Grayscale, and Wisdom Tree. So all of the XRP ETFs are about to start launching over the next week or so. That's a very bullish indicator. Remember, it took about 3 weeks for the reversal of Bitcoin, took about 3 weeks for the reversal of Ethereum before they started to pump. So we could see some more downward action. This would be the perfect time, by the way, for bears to kind of step in here and wreck a few prices on a few charts. And from there, then we start to grow. And the next thing you know, XRP all-time high. So I would be right now, guys, I'll be honest with you, accumulating XRP right now is going to be one of your best moves. Moving on, Tom Lee of the hair Tom Lee's warns that Bitcoin drop is from market maker Hole, says that Ethereum trend is unchanged. Now, here's what he says. According to Lee, this type of imbalance, whoops. Boy, I messed that up by zooming. This kind of imbalance can trigger forced liquidations, aggressive price dumping, and sharp fear in the market. He compared the situation to sharks circling weakened prey. In a recent interview, he predicted a 50% drop in the Bitcoin price. This is proof of the current weakness in the crypto market structure. He said opportunistic traders may be pushing Bitcoin lower to trigger even larger liquidations. Bitcoin has struggled to recover after dipping below key support levels, while Ethereum also faced selling pressure despite the panic. Lee called the situation temporary. He described the current downturn as short-term pain caused by structural stress rather than a collapse in fundamentals. The BitMine chair stressed that his long-term view on Ethereum remains unchanged and said Wall Street's push towards an Ethereum supercycle is intact. His conviction is underlined by BitMine's Ethereum purchases. According to him, the trend of traditional finance adopting blockchain technology is not slowed and remains one of the strongest forces driving the industry. He also warned that investors should avoid leverage during this environment. Okay, the people who are now getting nervous, the people that are entering leverage trades that are getting constantly wrecked over this, trying to force their way into making a little bit of money because they've lost some money, are getting wrecked even worse. And he's telling you, just stop, just relax. Okay, liquidations are hitting traders with borrowed money the hardest. What's happening right now? People are taking their last $100,000. They're going into Aave. They're taking out a loan for $100,000 on something, and they're getting liquidated in the wrong direction. They're getting just absolutely annihilated, and that's wrecking their entire bags. Okay, these are the risks when this happens. Now, look, we love Aave. We love Pendle. We love Arrow. We love the lenders, right? We absolutely love lenders because that creates value to our cryptocurrency. But at this point, if you're doing it for leverage trading, you are probably going to lose. All right. Now, Scott Bessent has also announced that while the crypto market is dealing with forced selling and balance sheet concerns, the geopolitical backdrop is shifting. Scott Bessent says that the United States and China are working to finalize a rare earths agreement by Thanksgiving. The deal would aim to avoid tariffs and prevent export restrictions on critical minerals and magnets. Now that that's out of the way, here's what we do have to point out. A couple of days ago, it was announced that in order to provide some relief to the United States citizens, that's mostly you guys, in order for you to have it easier, I want to say, for life to be just so much easier for you. Donald Trump has reduced the tariffs on beef. What? Let me say it again. Donald Trump has reduced the tariffs on beef. What? I said, stop telling me what, stop asking me what. I'm telling you right now, this is a good thing, right? Because Donald Trump has reduced the tariffs on beef in order to, what he said, to make the prices of beef come down. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where's my red MAGA hat? Where the hell is my red MAGA hat? You know what? I don't have a red MAGA hat, but I do have this Trump koozie that I got from somebody somewhere. I'm going to swear on my Trump koozie right here that Donald Trump told me that American citizens don't pay for the tariffs. So that if the prices go up, it's not because it's no, that the tariffs are being paid by the countries, that they're not being paid by the Americans. So I don't understand how reducing the tariff on beef is going to help us at all, because we don't pay that. Right? What? Guys, come on. Anyway, let's get back to it, because that, guys, look, I'm going to tell you, that drives me crazy, okay? And it drives me crazy because you know better. You know what the truth is. You know what the truth is. And most of the time, by the way, Donald Trump is not a truth teller. The MAGA agenda is, in my opinion, a lot more truthful than he is. And I think that the MAGA movement is going to be better served with J.D. Vance in charge, with people like Vivek Ramaswamy in charge, with people like Marjorie Taylor Greene in charge. It's going to be better when the people who are more truthful with you are in charge and running the show. They're just dealing right now with a cult of personality, and this movement is only going to improve when the glorious leader is gone. Okay, it's going to get way better for America, because people are going to be more trustful of the process and more accepting of the process, because we see the grift. Everybody sees it. Even if you're in it, you know it's there. You just don't want to acknowledge it because you've already chosen your side. But at some point, it's going to get really, really awesome if you're MAGA. You may not have that, the glorious leader, but it's going to get better. It's going to get a lot better for you and the rest of America. So strap in or strap on, whatever you choose. It's up to you. By the way, you can't do that if you're MAGA, despite the fact that, by the way, can you guys tell me? I have no idea why. I just wanted to ask you guys a question. At the RNC, which was in Phoenix, Arizona this year, Grindr, that's an app on your phone, said that the largest pool of people using Grindr were from Phoenix, Arizona during the RNC. That's wild. That's wild. Also, the RNC last year was in a place called Madison, Wisconsin. Can you guys tell me why all of the activity on Grindr spiked in Madison, Wisconsin a year ago? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. We have to admit that it's weird. I don't know what Grindr is. I assume that that's where you make hamburger meat. So, if you guys can tell me, I don't know what, again, I'm just a good boy. I have no idea what these things are. These internet social things. I have no idea what they are. I just assume that's a hamburger factory or something like that, where you grind up meat, right? You grind up meat. Am I with you? You're not with, okay, whatever. So just wondering, just wondering. Anyway, if that hurt, by the way, you know what I'm saying. Top analyst predicts how low Bitcoin will go. All right. Now, I gave you these numbers last night on my live stream, but I just wanted to reinforce this right now and kind of say that according to Ted, this is analyst Ted, no last name, because who the hell needs a last name? The Bitcoin price holds room for a final dip because the 92 CME gap remains untouched and continues to attract interest. As per his setup, clean imbalances are frequently re-experienced when the market develops tension in the price between supports, particularly around 93 and 95. Meanwhile, the current Bitcoin value sits around 95,000, showing hesitation as buyers avoid aggressive moves. He also highlights that 98K as the key reclaim zone because reactions there usually confirm a shift in short-term strength. He considers the fall to 92 as operational instead of risky because liquidity is more effectively cleared in small falls. This opinion is the basis of the larger argument since it presents the lower zone as key components of the subsequent large response. Okay, so what he's saying is, and I gave you yesterday on our charts a very similar setup And boom, boom, boom. I'm on the hour right now, so you have to give me a second here to zoom out here. And we're going at 91,400 right here, right in that 92,000 zone. And then we have another possible move down here to 89,100. This is where the pools of liquidity are right now. So I would suspect that we're probably going to see a push down. I don't see any reason right now to say that we are in a clear reversal of trend. As a matter of fact, if we're breaking anywhere, it's still down. Ultimately, are we bullish? Is the market done? Is it cooked? Is it over? Well, really, all we have to do is kind of zoom out. We've been here before. We've done this many times before, but we haven't really broken down, okay? We're not breaking down until, and by the way, to me, the confirmation of a bear market is not where we're talking about right now. It's actually where my boy Dr. Profit Crypto said. It's actually 73,800. Basically, if we hit that range right there, that will destroy positive momentum because that's that dip right there. That's that large dip. And we will then be minting a lower high on a larger time frame, and that would be an indication at that point of a bear market. Now, if you're trying to front run the bear market and you decide that you're going to get out right now, no problem. If it pumps, you can buy back in. Miss part of the pump, no big deal. You still make money as long as you're making money. Who cares? So if you're uncomfortable, exit. Get yourself out. If you're leveraged, if you're over leveraged, if you're in a crazy whatever you feel, okay, whatever it is. It's going to be fine. Chill out and relax. All right. Ultimately, I do think that we are headed back up. And most people, by the way, that are the quote unquote experts at analysis and stuff like that will agree that we are in that uptrend still and that this was not the end. The fundamentals, by the way, take some of the fundamentals out. Like Tom Weiss was saying about mass adoption, things like that. Take some of that out of the way. And there are too many big dominoes getting ready to fall in the positive to remain bearish for a long period of time. Okay. Now, with that being said, let me show you what the market looks like on the 1 hour, because the goblins that are USA, the guys that were in Phoenix, Arizona and Madison, Wisconsin. I don't know what that means. I think that's a Navajo tribe, or whatever it is. Whatever I was saying right there was probably not what you were thinking, obviously. I don't know what they do on Grindr. Again, I just assume it's a meat factory. But this is what the market looks like under the United States for the last 3 hours as they have come online. The market, by the way, we went to a new high in the 24-hour period just a few minutes ago before it all sold back off one more time. So what you're watching right now are catastrophic leverage flushes, okay? You are witnessing just ridiculous levels of manipulation in this market. So we run up to, let's call it 3.22 trillion market cap. Then we run to, and this is, by the way, in an hour and a half. Then we run back down to a 3.14. That's $80 billion coming out of the market in a very short interval. And then what happens? We put another 85 billion back into the market. And now we're negative on the day one more time. It is disgusting. Okay. It is, these goblins, these fucking goblins in the United States are just horrible people. They're horrible people. Okay. And they are looking to kill everything positive for you, because this is about stealing your money. This is not about, they're obviously they're scalping each other along the way, but this is all about attracting you into their market so that they can steal the money from you and liquidate you and put your money back into the community pool, which they can then pull out as soon as the market pumps again. Okay. They are the lowest hanging fruit on the tree. They are the uncle that sits in the basement while you're at Thanksgiving, hiding from you because nobody wants to talk to him. You know what I'm talking about. You know that guy. And if you don't know that guy, you're that guy. So, yeah. Anyway, so Tom, and it's, by the way, it's Ted Pillows. Ted Pillows does have a last name. let's see. Hardy, additionally, Hardy builds on Ted's perspective and points directly at the gap between 91.9 and 92.5. He describes this gap as the strongest magnet on the chart in his post. So everybody's kind of agreeing with the level. And by the way, for anybody who wants to know, there's no magic to finding that level. If you just kind of, come back over here and look at what we were talking about before, you zoom out here on the daily, all you're looking for is the spot where Bitcoin is bouncing the most, and that's right there. So it's not that complicated to find. Turns out super fucking easy. So anyway, let's keep moving on here. Arthur Hayes has now moved millions of dollars. Is the Ethereum price about to crash below 3,000? Arthur Hayes, that was the founder of Bitwise. Let's remember that. Let's see. Arthur Hayes has reportedly sold large amounts of crypto this week, drawing fresh attention from market watchers. On-chain monitors have reported that he sold off roughly 1,480 ETH in the last 2 days. The transaction was worth 4.7 million and took place amid a weak market. The last time he sold Ethereum was on October 1st, which coincided with a market bottom. He later bought back ETH at a higher price 9 days later. This pattern has sparked a debate on his recent moves again. Different reports said that he is also selling off a few altcoins. According to data, over 8 million worth of tokens were shifted to exchanges. This includes not just Ethereum, but also some small cap assets. The event has stirred up speculation in the crypto community, while some traders are of the opinion he is getting ready for a more extensive downturn. Arthur Hayes is dumping every single altcoin he holds. Over 8 million cashed out, including ETH, sold for 5 million. What is going on is the question. Latest Ethereum ETF data shows a sharp weekly downturn as investors withdrew 728 million from several major products. The daily numbers pointed to continuous redemptions done by different issuers, which in turn suggested there is an overall caution in the market. And we see that, by the way, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. We're acting like, which is crazy to me, okay? I just want to say this. Wintermute absolutely showed how insane they are in these markets, okay? They catastrophically dumped on this market in the course of a 15-minute window. That is crazy, all right? That is just insane to think about, okay? And then to polish it off, another grinder reference, I think, enjoy your meat, Phoenix, Madison, Wisconsin, RNC, whatever. These guys are, look, they're just ghouls. Let's just put it that way. They're just ghouls. They're goblins. A top asset manager was responsible to a large extent for the drop in sales. Wintermute, what they did was basically sell off everything, and now everybody's scared. Okay, until you find a bottom. And by the way, if you buy Ethereum at 4,000, let's just say you buy 1,400 Ethereum at $4,000. Can you sell it at 3,200 or 3,000? The answer to that for you should be yes. Do you know why? If you think the market is going lower, and if you think you can have an opportunity to scoop up 1,490, then you got 10 more Ethereum off of your swing in the event that you believe long-term that there's going to be a big pump. So it doesn't really matter what you sell, okay? It doesn't matter where you sell, okay? If this is your investment, then what you're trying to do is you're trying to scoop up the best deal you can possibly get to accumulate as much as you can possibly get. Let's face it. It doesn't matter if he bought at 4,000. If he sells at 3,000, that's still 1,480 Ethereum that he's selling. He's not selling less Ethereum. He's still selling 1,480 Ethereum. Now, if he thinks that it's going to go down to 2,000, then the difference between 3,000 and 2,000 would be, 33%? So he has an opportunity. If he sets a buy order at 2,000 and we hit 2,000, he could scoop up 33% more Ethereum. So then if it goes back up to 4,000, then what did he do? He just had whatever he bought at 4,000, he now has 33% more when it goes back to 4,000. 33% more at 4,000 means that he has a lot more money that he's going to make. Okay, 33% of 1,480 is going to be another 500 Ethereum. 500 Ethereum at $4,000 would be $2 million. So he would actually have scooped up on this dip, on the dip where he sold Ethereum lower. He would still actually make $2 million if it goes back to the price that he bought it at. It's a simple move, but it's effective. If you're in this market, those are the things that happen. Okay. So keeping going on here. MACD line crossed over to the plus side on the signal line, which is indicative of the early signs of sentiment improvement. Furthermore, the histogram slightly changed to green, which suggested a very gradual change in momentum. So we're starting to see a little bit of movement. RSI was around 48. So could be that we've got some good news coming on the horizon. Also, in good news, CZ Binance has now vowed a U.S. investment if the DOJ fine is reversed following his presidential pardon. He will reinvest $4.3 billion in DOJ fines if reversed back into the United States. He also revealed he has not yet requested a refund. His original $4.3 billion investment in 2023 was one of the biggest crypto fines. Settlement. I said investment. God damn it. His settlement in 2023 was one of the biggest crypto fines. So he now says that he will take that 4.3 billion, which is already out of his wallet. So he doesn't care about it. And he's already got billions himself, right? So he's saying, I appreciate the pardon already. There is a balance in asking for more versus what is fair versus appreciate what you got already. If we get any refund, we will be investing that in America anyway to show our appreciation. Now, I want to point out here what you just heard, what I just said. Everything is true. He just said we. What does that mean? That means that CZ is still part of Binance. He's just not publicly on as the face of Binance. But that does mean that CZ Binance, part of Binance, he's still in the cut right there. And because he's been fully pardoned, guess what? He can rejoin the board at any time, I would think, and maybe even become that CEO again. I don't know exactly how that would play out, but if he's pardoned, that does mean that he's not precluded from doing any business in the United States. So take that, Liz Warren, you goblin. All right. I just needed to do that. Charles Hoskinson is urging traders to hold the line as Bitcoin surges back to 93,000. During a recent podcast, Charles Hoskinson has called on crypto investors to hold firm against the market downturn. He urged them not to give in to the temptation to move out into crypto and fiat. Oh, I can't do that. Anyway, Charles Hoskinson calling for everybody to just hold your crypto. Let these ghouls do what they got to do. Don't worry about it. Don't get shaken out of your positions. Don't sell for the love of whatever God he believes in. Also, Ford has reached a deal with Amazon to sell certified used cars directly on the Amazon website. That's kind of huge. Japan's 20-year government bond yield surged to 2.75, the highest level in history, as the government prepares a $110 billion stimulus package. This chart is truly insane. It is going absolutely crazy on the bond yields for Japan, meaning that they're about to inject tons of money into their system, which is crazy. $110 billion for Japan, going to be a lot of money being injected back into their system. That being said, we should see a big rally, a significant rally, probably in digital assets. Also, let's take a moment and recognize this right here for anybody who consumes. The Chicago Bears are leading the NFC North. Look at that right there. Let me say that one more time for anybody who is wondering. The Chicago Bears are leading the NFC North 10 games into the season. That is insane to me. I don't know how you feel about it, but to me, that is absolutely incredibly nuts and insane. And by the way, I am a dum-dum because I forgot that I was supposed to be sharing this on son of a bitch. Man. Looks like I picked the wrong week to quit sniffing glue, as they said in Airplane. Was it Airplane? Was it Airplane? Yeah. Lloyd was his name, or something like that. Or Steve or John. I don't know. I don't know what his goddamn name is. All right. Let's do this real quick. We're going to go to the X platform. Join me live if you partake. Ha! There we go. All right. Calling all Consumers. Can we say that? Are we allowed to say that? Consumers. Probably not. We're going to get banned for saying consumer. Anyway, with that, let's move on. 0.30 bull market indicators have been hit. Not worried about it right now. Not in a bear market either. Also, TerraCasino.io for all your risk-based gaming needs. Terraport.finance if you want to buy some meme coins or utility coins. By the way, for those of you that don't know, even if you're not part of the Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, even though I am, even if you're not part of it, you should probably buy yourself some Juris protocol. You should probably buy yourself some WISO, and you should probably buy yourself some Terra, Terra, not the Terra, not the old UST. I'm talking about Terra, the actual Terra token that runs Terraport ecosystem, the Juris ecosystem. And Juris is, by the way, going to be the new lender. And look what's happening with lenders. I mean, just go back and look at Pendle, go back and look at Arrow, go back and look at Aave, what the value is of lending protocols on blockchains. Juris, I think, is going to be a big one. So you should buy yourself some Juris. You should buy yourself some Terra. You should buy yourself some WISO. All right. WISO also allows you to mine if you are interested. Like if for any reason you don't like Terraport, because you don't like me, you don't like Rex or something like that, then come over here, go to WISOworld.io. This is Mr. Diamond Hands. And you can mine WISO and you can use their swap, which is available. And it's got a fairly deep liquidity pool. So your funds are as secure as it gets in the Luna Classic ecosystem. Dev, don't know if anything's going on over here or not. If I hear anything, then I will let you guys know. Fear and Greed Index is down into 14. We're extreme fear right now. So this is the perfect opportunity to make that buy. Okay. This is the perfect chance. You know what I'm saying? Like, get in right now. Get in where you fit in. Yada I mean, as Jacob Fatu would say, if he had any teeth left. Did you know he had to get teeth removed? That's why he was written off. He was written off wrestling for a while, because he had to get his teeth, because he doesn't brush his teeth or something like that. You know, like his teeth had rotted or some kind of just wild shit right there. So he's getting all this work done. Anyway, so looking at the market right now, a little bit of movement in it. I mean, look, it's still a little too red for me. I don't think we're seeing nice movements on certain different plays here, but we're not seeing anything that's telling me that we're going to break out or that we've got a breakout happening or anything like that. Light up 53%. Took me 400 cryptos to get to one that's having a breakout. JCT up 41%. So there's two in the first 500. Banana again. This is another CZ project here. Remember, this is Justin Sun and those guys doing all this crazy stuff. Anyway, they bought the banana, the fake, the banana pinned to a wall or whatever it was. Up 74%. And then 67% or 50% for 67. Haha, 67. So, we got to go 700 deep in order to find some really good pumps, though. So market is still kind of freezing people out. Also, liquidity right there. On the short time frame, 92,800. On the longer time frames, probably somewhere in this 91,763, 91,008, 91,009. Could see a wick spike down into that range. What we pulled right there wasn't very much. So let's go look at it on a 3-day, see if maybe we pulled a little bit more. Like, this is, logically speaking, the next move should be to 97,000. But it ended up stopping right here at 96 and reversing back down. So I'm not sure what they're looking for. There's a giant pool of liquidity starting to build up above our current range, meaning that we should see some upside momentum all the way into this 98,000 range. Even if we don't stay there and we're dipping down further, I would suspect that at least right there into that spot right there of 97,534 is going to be the big area. If we don't break into 98,700. So longer time frames, that changes a little bit because we start to see the pool sort of dries up. But again, we're still looking at that 98,000 range as probably a heat seeker, if you will. So look for some movement back up. Look for some bullish. Look for a bullish pump. I'm not sure that the market is going to be incredibly bullish, but just look for a bullish pump coming very soon. I don't know if it'll sustain. I don't know if it'll be a reversal of trend, but I do think that we're going to be testing 98,000 very, very soon. Now, as far as the ETFs go, still just capital outflows continuing. On the Ethereum, still just capital outflows continuing. And then for Solana, we got outflows. I'm just kidding. We got inflows. It's every day capital inflows into Solana every single day. Institutions are continuing to adopt. Very small, by the way, at this point. And remember, this is the only ETF that's just kind of sitting around, sort of meandering. The rest of them are doing it what we would call the old way. So the major filings are still not like we're still waiting for those Solana ETFs, the real ones, to be launched. And when I say that, that's not disrespectful to this one, but again, this one bypassed the rules, if you will, in order to get approved. Now, XRP, the question right now is, do you think XRP will drop below $2.10? And the answer to that is yeah. So if the market is going to dip and we're going to see one more, if we're going to see one more catastrophic move, $1.70 becomes the target. Like it would not hurt you at all to set yourself a buy order right now at around $1.70 or $1.65 for XRP. Not because I think it's going to go there, but just in the off chance that that market maker hole that Tom Wise is talking about is there, we could see another dip down into this range one more time. We saw it here. We saw it here. We saw it as resistance over here. So the market tends to do what the market tends to do. And if we're looking at it and zooming out to a little bit longer of a time frame over here, then we're looking at this full-on long-term sort of impulse move, right? All right. There, and then bang. And then bang. If we hit that, that's going to be right near that 618. So it would stand to reason and be logical to see that happen. So now I am going a little bit beyond the impulse move, by the way. If you really look at it from the actual impulse move right there, then of course we had that nice little breakout. So, the numbers changed just a little bit, but no matter which number and which line you're using right there, it makes sense that we're going to go back into that golden zone before resuming any sort of pump. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen. Could break out at any time. But if you're looking at it from historical context, short of any kind of crazy announcement or something like that, then I would say that, if you're going to be, if you think 210, I would say think lower into that, maybe $1.70, $1.80. There's also a little spot right here around $1.95 where I'm going to show you right here. Let me put it up on the chart right there. And now let's zoom in and kind of look at what's happening at that line, which is $1.90. And you can see across this that we used it as support. So I would say we're going to get a strong bounce at $1.90. So if you're going to do it, then I would say that is the move. Muskrat King is asking XRP at $1.70 or DEV at 25. Based on the timing, based on the time frame, DEV at 25 cents. DEV at 25 cents, just because there's so much more upside for DEV, just to get into, not even close to, imagine this, just to give you guys an idea here. DEV is at 25 cents right now. In the event that DEV were half of the market cap of XRP, which is currently 133, that would mean that the DEV market cap would be akin to USDC. And if we were to just go compare market cap, I'm going to do this just because I want you guys to see, what I'm talking about here. But let's just say that you took DEV and it had the same market cap as USDC does right now. God damn it. I swear to God, I absolutely despise I despise this thing. $854. Okay. That's a 2000x. Okay. That's insanity in itself. Okay. I don't think that it's going to that. level. My prediction, by the way, was more along the lines of Shiba Inu right now. So what I said was, I think it's going to do like SHIB, which is $60. Okay. And this right there is my projection, about 5 billion market cap. Now, if it goes higher than a 5 billion market cap, that's just going to be incredible, right? But I think that it's destined for at least a $5 billion market cap based on the information being provided. Okay. The partnership is NASDAQ. The announcement is coming before the end of this year. All of the government's reopened. There's a bullish sentiment in the air. So, I would be looking for a big move. I would be looking for some real positivity coming for Dev, and it would take 149x for XRP. So what is the XRP current price? $2.21. 221 times 149. XRP is not going to $329. Okay. So, you can close that door right now because XRP market cap is 133 billion. So if we took 134 times 149, $19 trillion market cap, that's not happening. That's not happening. That's not happening. We're not going to a $19 trillion market cap on XRP. Okay, you have a much better shot, a much better option. Now, the question that you would have if you wanted to continue to ask it as a question is, which is going to happen quicker? Is Dev going to go to, let's say, $2 before XRP goes to $5? And you can make an argument because of the ETFs and because you still don't have an announcement clarified by Dev or anything like that, because you don't have any of these different things. There's a possibility that XRP could run to $5 in quick succession. So if you got 10 grand at $1.70, maybe you turn into 30 grand, and then maybe you still buy Dev at 40 cents, and that would be your big play. You know what I mean? Like there's that possibility too. So you never know when it's going to happen. I mean, like, I'm sure that it's going to happen. I just don't know when it's going to happen. So, still think XRP will hit $25. Yes, that's 1.5 trillion market cap. 1.5 trillion market cap is about a 10x of where we are right now. I think it's 11x at this point. That's a fair number. That, to me, represents a fair number. It's going to take the Trump administration doing some big stuff, making some partnership with XRP, some large corporations making some big partnerships with XRP, creating a larger valuation for XRP. It's going to take a lot to make that happen. But remember, XRP has been suppressed for a long period of time. And of all of the cryptos that are probably going to survive, Bitcoin, XRP, Ethereum, Solana, I don't know what else. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't know what else beyond that one. And by the way, that's not me taking a shot at Dev. That's not me taking a shot at any other of these platforms here. I'm just saying that we only need so many blockchains. I think Avalanche, by the way, is going to be completely underpriced at its current level of $15 right now. I think that, if you really want one that I think is undervalued, right here, Avalanche. Look, you can build and you can create your own coins, not tokens. You're not a baby anymore, right? You're a grown boy. You're a grown up, right? Instead of having a token that works on that you have to build for yourself, you can create your own coin on Avalanche and run it on their layer 1 stack as if you made it yourself. Like, it just becomes your own blockchain. That's what MapleStory is doing right now in this ecosystem. That's what I think it was Player Underground is doing that now on Avalanche. They have their own coin. So you can monetize your entire ecosystem using that coin, and you can turn it into the gas. You don't even have to use AVAX. You can use your own coin to burn in this ecosystem, and you can use it to buy and sell goods and services inside your own ecosystem. Like, this is your digital asset. This is your digital platform of the future. And by the way, if you decided to do this, and then what you did is you turned the burn into your coin, and you had USDC or USDT planted over there for you to use as well for purchasing power, stuff like that. Like, the world is yours. So I think Avalanche probably going to survive and thrive. We just, it's just a matter of time before the right partner enters Avalanche and before people just be like, whoa, what is going on over there? Also, a great time to buy SWE. Now, SWE, because of how much Wintermute actually had, I think people have found out, like, wait a minute, they're a little bit nervous about this. Now, did we enter a bear market? Well, we've actually right here entered the bearish territory. So, the rest of the market, Bitcoin is going to reverse. So this thing is going to pump. But the shine, by the way, let's just say this and be honest, the shine is off of SWE for right now. The valuation was probably considered to be a little bit too high. And we're going to see, we're going to see some correction on SWE, and we're going to find out some real valuation at some point. We got a nice speculative run up to $5. Okay, we'll just say that right now. And we're down 75% from the top. If anybody tells you that we're in bear market territory, we're already drawing down 70% on SWE. So yeah, we've already done the bear part on some of these tokens or coins. So, but I mean, looking around, you're seeing the same thing. Let me give you just a quick update here. Bitcoin down barely on the day, but down. Ethereum up 1%, BNB down another 1.5%, crashing down, by the way. All right, buy some BNB, by the way. I'm not telling you what to do with your funds or anything like that, but if you were looking at Fibonacci right now, this is your buy zone at $903, $904. You're at $913 right now. Doesn't mean that it's not going to go down to $772, but this is a solid buy zone right now. So if you have capital on the sideline right now, you are in the golden zone. That usually means a run back up to the 236 is going to happen. So it could be like an easy 33% gain for you on BNB over the next couple of weeks. Don't forget, I just announced that CZ Binance talking about maybe investing $4.3 billion into the United States for cryptocurrency and stuff like that. I mean, guys, that is huge and gigantic. So, I wouldn't bet against that. Look for a rebound to about $1,200 from Binance coming very, very, very soon, right into that range right there. So, matter of fact, let's label that next pump. We're going to label that zone right there, and that's what we're going to be looking for as a movement. So BNB might be a really good call right now. Solana, still bullish, by the way. Look at this. Again, long term, down here to down here to here. And by the way, even that catastrophic dump that happened over here, still not, like, we're still very, very bullish. The structure has maintained on Solana. So I expect Solana probably going to rally pretty significantly pretty soon. If we assume that we're at the bottom or at or near the bottom right now, then we look at this and we look for a rally back into the $215 range coming up very, very soon. Somewhere at $210 is probably where the next rally for Solana is going to be. And that is about at 137. That's going to be an 80% gain, 70% gain. So buy yourself some Solana right now, because that seems like a pretty good deal. Chainlink, I'm just not as bullish as some of you guys on Chainlink. With that being said, the next spike in price on Chainlink looks like I'm going to follow a trend line here, and I'm not going to use the top over here. I'm going to use this right here in this little range right there, because that feels a little more comfortable to me. Next rally for Chainlink. By the way, if you're looking at it from a pure standpoint here, a dip down to $12, probably healthy, and a move back up into $31, probably what's on tap. So, I would be looking for that. It's already played out 3 times, by the way. So 4 times if you include the double top over there. So I just think I think it's got one more in it. So maybe 150, 200% on that one. You know what I mean? Yo believes, just place my order for some simple peptides. Nice. Ipamorelin CJC 1295 is what I'm on right now. Supposed to be 3 times stronger than what I was on before, which was Ipamorelin and GHKCU. They don't work together, it turns out, because one of them is a copper peptide. So, this one is supposed to be even more quote unquote devastating for the bod, yo. So yeah, man, I appreciate that. That's I mean, I don't get anything for it, but I think that look, I'll tell you right now. All right. Peptides are unbelievable and they're amazing. All right. And if you don't believe me, then I mean, I don't know what to tell you. You guys, most of you have been watching me for a year. Okay. You've seen the transformation. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, you've seen the transformation. Okay. And this is a lot of peptide therapy. Okay. So, oh, and by the way, a lot of peptide therapy. So, guys, I am a big fan, and I will be a big fan of peptides for a long time coming. Now, that being said, the ones that I use might change over time, but 120 pounds is what I'm down right now. And I'm way more muscular than I was before. I mean, come on. It's working, and it's working really, really well. So, boom. All right. So now let's get into a couple of meme coins here, and then we're going to bounce on this. Now, as far as movement goes, Ethereum is up 18%, back up to, it's not an all-time high. I think the all-time high on Ethereum was 100,000, maybe 152,000, I want to say, something like that. Yeah, 151,000. All right, 151.46. Ethereum just seems to continue to have good little moves there. So I suspect there's going to be a nice little breakout. Now, for those of you that don't know what Ethereum is a quantum betting platform or an everything betting platform. Now, I'm still connected to it, but what you can do is on this platform, you're able to create your own questions. Okay, you're able to create your own questions, and then people can bet on what you think. So you can come in here and you can say, "Will Bitcoin in by the way, you choose a day, how long the duration is." Okay, so you're going to ask a question that's time based. So you put like a 1 day, and you put, "Will Bitcoin go positive or negative for the day?" And then you can just bet on it. You can bet Ethereum, you can bet Ethereum, you can bet, I want to say Solana as well. There's going to be a bunch of different ones. And then there's a 50-50 lottery. There's going to be a tournament. And it's just an incredible betting platform where you control what the bets are. Polymarket doesn't control what the bets are. Nobody else controls what the bets are. You can just control what the bets are. So if this is, and look, I did the interview with George. And he's pretty he's pretty firm that this is for him going to be a very big thing, right? So in the event that this gets launched, and in the event that this is coming to, it gets a little bit of exposure, this is a potential multi-million-dollar platform. So getting in at 60,000 market cap right now, it's worth putting $100 in. Let's just put it this way: it's worth right now going to Ethereum and putting in $100. I'm not telling you what to do with your money, but if you have an extra $100 on the sidelines, remember, the reason that I'm saying $100 and not $10,000 or $1,000 or anything is, if you put in a bunch of money on this right now, then they're going to dump on you. Not George or anybody, but if you put in $1,000 in liquidity, it'd probably pump the market cap up to, I mean, what is it? So we go from 57 to 59 based on $200. So it would probably be an $80,000 mark. You'd probably put $1,000 in, and it would go to an $80,000 or $70,000 market cap. And then people would look at it and be like, "Oh my God, it's like a 12% pump, 13% pump." And they just sell. You know what I mean? So DCA your way through this smartly if you're looking for something. But I think that it's worth $100 just to throw at it, just to see what could happen here. Again, if it goes to 150 market cap, 150,000 market cap, then you made a couple $100. You know what I mean? If it goes to 1 million market cap, then you made a 12, 13, 14, about 14 or 15, about a 16x. So it would be an easy 16x. So you turn $100 into $1,600. That's a big win. You know what I mean? Morgan, it's right above you. I put it, it ends in pump. It's F8W15W right above. I just put it in the chat right there. So get yourself just to get yourself a small bag of it, just in case. I'm not promising that it's going to do anything. Okay. I like George. You know, I like these guys, but that doesn't make it, just because I like them doesn't mean it's going to pump. I've liked a lot of guys and nothing has ever gone to market for a lot of these guys. Remember, Sway was my friend. He was my neighbor and he robbed me. So you never know. All right. Anyway, so we're going to wrap that up with that. 24-hour DEX volume. There is a chill in the air. We are down to 9 billion in trade volume. Remember, this is, again, we were $20 billion in DEX trade volume just a month and a half ago until Wintermute started screwing things up. So, now we're feeling the real chill in the air right now. But in my opinion, it's going to be the calm before the storm. Everybody's ready for, everybody's ready to quit. Everybody's running out. This is, by the way, this is the moment. Okay. Let's close this out with this. We're in despair right now. We're actually feeling despair in the crypto market. The despair of no altcoin season, no real meme coin season. We've had so many people in this market that run a meme coin. Look, I'll put it this way. We're at the point right now where a meme coin launches on Pump Fund and it launches with almost a zero market cap and it goes to 100,000 market cap and the goblins make a few X off of it. And then it might go to 500,000 if you're lucky. And that's considered a resounding success. That's where we are in this market. Okay. There's no longer loyalty. Okay. We are PvP. Look, I told you guys a year ago that this is a PvP world and that we're just scalping each other. And I've said that repeatedly over the last year. And guess what? Today, it's even worse. So we're not there yet, but the path is clear. The path is laid out. All right. The only thing that we have left now is to just execute on that. All we need at this point is we need this market to turn on. Once this market turns on, then there will be a crazy run. All right. There's going to be a crazy run. We're not done yet. You just need to have a little patience, a little faith. And then finally, and in closing, you guys know my number one project is still Dev. We're not talking about it, but we're talking about it. That one, I don't need an altcoin season. I just need them to do what they say they're going to do and make their announcement. And if they get an announcement and it goes just a simple 10x, like again, right now it's at, I want to say 40 cents, something like that. If it goes to $4, we've all made a ton of money. Okay. I think a lot of us are, fairly decent sized holders. So we would make a ton of money off of that. If it goes back to its all-time high, we would all make a ton of money off of that. So, there's a real path forward for a massive, massive opportunity with it. And if the announcement is everything that I think it's going to be, then again, $50 or $60 is automatic. It's automatic. So, it just takes one. It just takes one. For most people, it was Bitcoin early on. Then for a lot of people, it was Ethereum early on. Then it was Solana early on. Like there's some opportunities out there, right? Well, this one I think is the next opportunity. So it doesn't matter whether we get an altcoin season or not. What happens after Dev runs is all that money goes into other assets and we start to use that trickle down sort of thing right there. And we start to gain new assets that we're going to hold on to for long term. But again, we don't need an altcoin season. We just need an announcement from Dev. There's $270 billion in USDC, USDT, PYUSD, RLUSD stable coins. There's money everywhere in this market. So capital rotation will come into any project that gives a massive announcement. So I'm not worried about it. So let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's time for me to go. I'm going to go get my swole on and let my IPA Morellin and CJC 1295 work on this day. It's not financial advice, but I'm looking for the good life, good life. Sitting on top of the world, I wanna be shining like